after the U.S. increased tariffs from 10% to 25% on $200 billion worth of Chinese goods. President Donald Trump said Friday that the process is in place to levy an expanded round of tariffs on effectively the remainder of Chinese imports. Talks with China continue in a very congenial manner. There is absolutely no need to rush, Mr. Totaling $325 billion. The process has begun to place additional tariffs at 25% on the remaining $325 billion. Trump tweeted, only sells China approximately $100 billion of goods and products, a very big imbalance. The U.S. with the over $100 billion in tariffs that we take in, we will buy. Donald J. Trump, at Real Donald Trump. May 10, 2019. The Chinese vowed countermeasures, without providing details. The White House said late Thursday talks would continue Friday despite that the tariffs went into effect at midnight. Trade Representative Robert Lighthizer had a working dinner Thursday with Vice Premier Liu He, Treasury Secretary Steven Mnuchin and U.S. Despite the escalation of the trade war between the world's two biggest economies, there remains a chance that the dispute will be resolved before the tariffs begin to be collected, noted Goldman Sachs analysts Alec Phillips and Blake Taylor in a Friday research note. It will require at least a few days and possibly weeks for U.S. Customs to begin collecting the new tariffs, which could provide a window and agreement to be reached, they noted. In practice, this means most of the tariff increase will not hit until 2 to 3 weeks from now, or roughly the amount of time it takes cargo to ship from China to the U.S. They wrote, this delay might create an unofficial window during which the U.S. and China can continue to negotiate. Futures for the Dow pointed to a lower opening, with investors expressing anxiety over Mr. Trump's tweet that there is no rush in the trade talks. The S&P 500 and tech-heavy Nasdaq are also slated to open lower when the market begins trading at 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time. $325 billion. The second round of tariffs on $325 billion of Chinese goods could take even longer to implement. Even while Mr. Trump signaled his administration is preparing to move forward, implementation would take longer, potentially 2 to 3 months, the Goldman analysts wrote. In the meantime, we believe an agreement is fairly likely to be reached. They pegged the likelihood of the next round of tariffs moving forward at 30%, a slightly higher probability than before the higher duties went into effect today. Who pays for tariffs on China? Mr. Trump wrongly claimed on Friday morning that the Chinese are paying the tariffs to the U.S., a misstatement he has made previously. In fact, the duties are paid by importers like Ford or Walmart that either swallow the cost or pass it along to consumers. Consumers who are footing the bill for tariffs. In other words, it's often U.S. tariffs are now being paid to the United States by China of 25% on $250 billion worth of goods and products, Mr. Trump tweeted, misrepresenting who is actually paying for the duties. Mr. Trump's tariffs are designed to make certain goods more expensive for U.S. consumers, who in turn are likely to seek out lower-cost items made in the U.S. or from countries that aren't facing the higher tariffs. That will result in lower demand for Chinese imports, creating a bargaining tool in trade negotiations, with reporting by the Associated Press.